Hi everybody, welcome back to Kitchen Chaos with Jackie. Today we are going to make some soup. Yay! I don't know about you, I absolutely love soup no matter what time of the year it is, but especially right now. So it's really cold outside. I mean, it's like 18 degrees out today. Brr. So we are going to make cauliflower soup. So what inspired me for this, my friend Susie that I worked with would always make this cheesy potato soup. Everybody raved about it. I actually never tried it because, well, I don't eat potatoes, and the base she always used a roux, so that was flour in the soup mixture. So I actually never tried it, but like I said, everybody else said how good it was. Well, where I work now, the girls were asking about it, so Susie and Jody had sent the recipe over to me so I could give it to them. And I got to thinking, I'd like to try it, but let's make it with cauliflower instead. So that's what we're going to do today. I have made cream of cauliflower, cheesy cauliflower soup before. Usually I puree the cauliflower and it just creates this really nice thick soup. But today we're going to do it differently. Today I actually cut the cauliflower into small pieces so that'll be reminiscent of potato soup. So we're going to try this. You want to come along and play with me? Come on, let's do this. All right. All right, let me introduce you to my cast of characters today. We have some bite-sized pieces of cauliflower. I just kind of broke them up into very, like I said, small pieces. So I want to have a little bit of texture with those. We have 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, 2 cups of chicken broth. I have half of a white onion, very finely diced, and 2 large garlic cloves, again, finely diced. I have a cup of sharp yellow cheddar cheese that I grated, and then I also had some pepper jack cheese in the fridge. So I thought, with as rich as the soup will be, that it would be really good to have maybe that little bit of spice. Not a lot, of course, but just a little bit. So I grated about a cup of that. So that's 2 cups of cheese. And then I also have some really rich American cheese. This is a white American cheese. The brand is called Cooper. It was something that I just recently discovered. It is really, really buttery and rich. So I don't eat very much of it, but I did break up a couple of pieces of that. I'm going to put that in the soup as well. I also have 3 slices of bacon that I diced. It's raw bacon. We're going to be cooking that first to add to our soup. And then we have, of course, some salt, fresh ground pepper, and I put the garlic powder out because I want to see how garlicky it is, and we'll add and we'll taste it as we go along and see how it goes. So let me get the stove cleared off and we'll get started with the cooking. All right, so we've got our soup pan out and we are going to go ahead and put the bacon in first, and I'm putting it into a cold pan, and then I'm not going to fry it at like a high heat. I'm going to do it kind of low. The reason I'm going to do that is I want to render the fat out of the bacon, because we're going to remove the bacon, and I will drain that on some paper towels, and then we will cook our onions and garlic in the bacon fat that's left. So that's what we're going to get started doing. Now, you could, of course, if you didn't want to cook the bacon in the pan, I mean, you can use bacon bits, or you could use, if you had some cooked bacon, you, of course, could use that. But like I said, I had a little bit of bacon left over that we had made for dinner, and I just really wanted to render out the fat in that, and just to show you how I do it. Okay. So we're just going to let that go. Like I said, I have the heat on, it'd be probably medium low, I guess. Like I said, I don't want it to crisp too fast. I really want to get as much of the fat out of there as I can. So we're just going to let that go, and then I'll come back in a few minutes and I'll show you what it looks like, okay? Okay, so about 5 or 6 minutes have passed, and the bacon is looking beautiful and crispy and has rendered out some of its lovely fat. So I'm just going to pull out the bacon. You can see how nice and brown and crispy it is. And I'm going to put it on some paper towels to drain. And I'm just using a slotted spoon, of course, so I can get all the pieces out, but leave the fat in there. So this rendered out probably about 2 tablespoons of fat in the skillet, so we're going to leave that in there. I know Susie, in her recipe, she uses a whole stick of butter in that. And of course she needs that because she's also making, like I said, that roux with the flour, and that is flour and butter that you stir together to make it thick and creamy. instead of using that, we're going to use the heavy cream today. Now, I don't have the cream cheese sitting out because I don't plan on using it. We are going to see how it thickens up. If it seems like it needs a little bit of help, then I will go ahead and probably put a little bit in, but we're going to try to stay away from that. All right, so now I turn that off for the moment. We're going to put in our onions and our garlic. And again, we're just going to do this on a very low heat. We just want to soften the vegetables. We don't want to brown them. We just, like I said, want to cook them down just for a few minutes, so maybe another 5 minutes or so. And then once we get that going, we're going to add the cauliflower and the chicken stock, and then we'll cook the cauliflower with the chicken stock. So I'll show you that here in just a minute. All right, so we've just been cooking the onions and garlic just for a couple of minutes. They are such a small dice. It really, I think they're fine. It smells so good in here. I wish I had smell-o-vision. Oh my goodness. It is absolutely lovely. So we're going to go in with our cauliflower. Now, I don't think I told you how much it was. I had bought a really large head of cauliflower last weekend at the store. It was like $2. It was beautiful. I did make some roasted cauliflower for the family, and I had about not even half that head left, but it was huge, like I said. So I would say this is about 3 cups of cauliflower, maybe like a small head. And like I said, this is just that leftover that I had. And again, small dice. I kept the tender stems, and I chopped those up also small. So we dumped all that in there. And I know I dirtied like 3 cutting boards doing this, but it's worth it for you guys. I figure I'll be reusing them anyway. I have some other things to make today. Okay, so I have the cauliflower in. I'm just going to stir that around just to get some of that lovely bacony onion garlic flavor on there. And then we're going to go in with some fresh cracked black pepper. So I always like to put this in, and I'll probably be adding more later. I just want to do a light seasoning. I'm actually not going to add any salt to this right now because of the saltiness of the bacon and the saltiness of the chicken broth. I want to wait until I add everything before I actually start doing that. So we're just giving that one more toss, and then I'm going to go in with the chicken. Now, would you believe I forgot to thaw out my homemade chicken stock, even though I knew I was going to make this soup about halfway through the week. So I always have some bouillon in the fridge so that, in case of a pinch or if I just need a small amount. So that's what I did. I just mixed that with 2 cups of water. I know, sometimes you just got to take it the easy way out. The sad thing is I love my own chicken broth so much more. It has a lot of flavor and not usually as salty as bouillon. So again, this is why I am not adding the salt yet. Now, if you wanted to, you could use vegetable stock with this. That would be great. I don't know, what else? No, probably either the chicken stock or the veggie stock would be the only ones I'd choose. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to let this simmer probably, I'm not sure, 5-10 minutes. I'll let you know. We're going to do it until it's fork tender. And then once it's at that stage, we're going to add the heavy whipping cream to it, okay? So you watch and wait. No, okay, we'll be right back and I'll show you. Okay, so we've been simmering this for about 5-6 minutes, and I just tried it, and it is getting nice and tender. So I'm going to go ahead and add the heavy cream to this. So this is just a container of heavy cream, so this will be 2 cups. Turn the heat down just a little bit, and we're just going to slowly add that in there. And it, like I said, it smells so good in here. Oh my goodness. I hope you guys will try this. What are your favorite soups to make? I love all soups, really. I don't know, I make soup all the time, and I don't usually follow a recipe. It's kind of, I get an idea, it inspires me, and then I just kind of use whatever's in the fridge to make it. So a few weeks ago, I made a cross between stuffed cabbage soup and stuffed pepper soup. And so I had cabbage in the fridge, and I had a bunch of peppers left from another dinner. So I fried those up with some ground beef. And then what did I add? I had some chicken broth and also some corned beef stock that I had from when I did a corned beef in the crock pot. I always save the juice from that. I freeze it because I always figure I can use it for something. And that's what I added. And it came out so good. At the end, once I had simmered it down and all the flavors were good, I added a bag of riced cauliflower to mimic the rice. And it was absolutely delicious. We froze some and made a huge batch. I had to actually use my bigger pan for that one, but it came out really good. So those are the kind of things that I do. I really like lentil soup and split pea soup, but I don't make those as much as I used to just because of the carbs. But I will sacrifice a little bit. I don't eat a lot of it at a time, maybe like half to 3/4 of a cup just to keep my carb count low. But I just don't want to have to give up my beans, my lentils, like I said, the split pea soup, which is an old recipe from a long time ago that was handed down in the family. So those are the kind of things that I do. I also like to make broccoli soup and onion soup. All kinds of soups. Soups are delicious and they just warm you up from the inside. So what we're going to do is I'm going to let this simmer just a little bit. We're going to reduce it down and then I'm going to add the cheese and we're going to put the bacon back in it. All right, so the soup has been simmering about another 5 minutes again. And it looks really good. I tasted the cauliflower again and it's a little bit more tender, of course, so I think it's perfect. So we're going to go ahead and start adding our cheese. Now, you don't want to add all the cheese at one time because it will just clump up. So I usually just go in a handful at a time, give it a little stir, add a little bit more. And anytime I'm making a cheese sauce, this is what I do. Like I said, just a little bit. I didn't know this a long time ago, probably not that long ago, and I would just dump like a whole bag of cheese in or all the cheese at one time, and I could never understand why it didn't get nice and creamy and smooth. And it was, there'd be like clumps of cheese. And not that that was a bad thing because, I'm all right with that. But I have learned that if you just add a little bit at a time, it does make it just beautifully creamy and delicious. So we're going to add the rest of our cheese. And then I'm going to throw the bacon back in here. And then we're going to give it a taste and see what it needs. I haven't added any more pepper yet. I'm sure I'm going to be adding a bunch more of that. We'll check the salt content to see if it needs any salt. And then, like I said, I also have the garlic powder. Those are really my go-to spices. Just trying to keep it simple here, peoples. Okay. So we're just going to continue mixing with this. And it is starting to thicken up, so I think it's going to be really delicious. Okay, so we've added all of our cheese, and I have been continuously stirring it again so it doesn't clump up on me. And it's been going for another few minutes. I tasted it. I did add some fresh ground pepper, probably about a teaspoon of that, and just a teeny bit of garlic powder. Now I'm going to put my bacon back in here. And it really is quite delicious, and I did not add any salt to it. I don't think that it needs it. Again, that chicken broth that I used and the bacon and the cheese are all pretty salty. So taste your food, season as you like it. Like I said, I just really like pepper, so I did a couple of big grinds of pepper in there. And guys, that's it. That's our soup. Doesn't it look beautiful? Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to have a bowl of this. So I'm just going to, I turned the heat off. I'm going to let it sit for a couple of minutes and then we'll dish it up and we'll give it a good spoonful and let you know how it came out. All right, the soup is ready to eat. So I put it into a bowl. I don't know how well you can see that. And I just, I cut up a little bit of scallion and put on top. So it looks and smells delicious. Let's try it and see how it is. Okay, that's really good. Very reminiscent of like loaded baked potato soup. Oh, that's great because that's what I was going for. I'm so excited. I love whenever my recipes turn out The cauliflower is just perfectly tender, so I think the cook time on it was great. I'll actually have to write down what I did because, again, I was just kind of playing around. So I'm going to finish that for my lunch, and I have some other things to do around the house. So I appreciate you guys watching. I really hope that you'll try this recipe and some of the other ones. Check out my channel. I've got all kinds of good stuff on there, and I keep hoping to make more. So let me know what you think. I appreciate your comments. Thank you again for watching. Be good to each other. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate, just celebrate it in love, okay? All right, thanks guys. We'll see you later.